Universal Soldier. What a movie. It's June Claude Van Damme. Let's get into it. Universal Soldier is from 1992. It lasts about an hour and 40 minutes and it stars June Claude Van Damme, obviously, and it stars Dolph Lundgren. Yeah, this is cool. What's the tagline? Almost human, almost perfect, almost under control. Alright. Well, it is Van Damme versus Dolph Lundgren, and this was a huge deal back in the day. This was, I cannot explain to you how big a deal it was to have these two action stars in this movie as opposing forces back in 1992. This came out, I probably saw it in 1993 when it was released on home video, and this is a movie I cannot say a lot of bad things about. Have you seen the acting? So in this movie, Van Damme plays Luke Devereaux. Private Luke Devereaux. That's right, because he is a soldier in the Vietnam War as the movie opens. Dolph Lundgren plays Sergeant Andrew Scott.
He's a bloody nutter.
And we also have Ali Walker as Ronnie, the roving reporter. Yeah, something like that. Also, Van Damme is also known as GR34, and Dolph Lundgren is also known as GR13. So basically, two soldiers in Vietnam, they're ending their tour of duty. But Sergeant Scott, Dolph Lundgren, has gone crazy. He's gone absolutely nuts. And he's killed all the civilians in this little village in Vietnam. And he's killed all his compadres. And then June Claude Van Damme comes up, meets a little rat-faced guy that's like, they're all dead.
What happened to the others? Look at me.
Dead! The platoon! The sergeant's totally lost it!
And then he confronts Dolph Lundgren, and he's like, hey, what's going on? And Dolph Lundgren is making a necklace out of human ears. Yeah, his mind has gone. He thinks everyone around him is a traitor, and he just wants to kill everyone. Yeah, what a nice guy. Yeah, well, they have a bit of a fight, and they end up killing each other. There's a stabbing, there's shooting, they're not shooting, they're both dead. The end. That was a short movie. Yeah. Well, that's just the opening of the movie. Because we fast forward to 30 years later, in the early 90s, and we're now following a Special Forces team. It includes Ralph Moeller from Best of the Best 2. Draxus, yeah, that's right. And features Tiny Lister, who's in loads of stuff, yep. And also features Luke Devereaux, Van Damme, and Andrew Scott, Dolph Lundgren. How? We saw them die. So it turns out, this program, the Universal Soldier program, it takes these dead combat veterans, brings them back to life, somehow, that's never explained, makes them these unstoppable super soldiers, basically. Yeah, they still bleed, they can still get shot, they can still die in explosions and stuff, but they can be rejuvenated. Yeah, they're known as Unisols, and this is the first mission we see them on. They're saving a bunch of hostages from some terrorists. Yeah, and the Hoover Dam, I think it is. During this mission, the very first one we see, remember, Van Damme has a bit of a moment. Yeah, he sees a young couple tied up who look like the young couple from the start of the movie in Vietnam, because it's the same actors. Oh, so it is. Yeah, see? This is why I'm here. I'm the brains. Right, okay. So we see the whole workings of how the Unisols operate. They can be shot and put down, as Ralph Moeller is. Yeah. And then they're put in ice, and this helps heal their wounds. They're given special injections to give them super strength. When I die, sign me up. Right. During this mission is where we meet Ronnie, the reporter. She's here with her cameraman. She films a quick little segment on the action that's happening behind her, and then is instantly sacked.
Think just because you broke a few stories that you're indispensable. Well, I had a little chat with the network today, and you know what, Ronnie?
You know what, Chuck?
You're fired.
Pretty unprofessional, Chuck. Anyway, later on, she says to her cameraman, listen, I know I've been sacked, but let's just continue investigating this story. So she does. So they sneak around at night and follow the Universal Soldier van. They've got like this no-dial unit that's their base. And they find Ralph Noller in a tub of ice, dead. And then he opens his eyes. Yeah. GR44 and GR13, Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren, they're sent out to capture the reporter and see what's going on. But there's a little bit of a glitch, and Dolph Lundgren, Scott, puts a bullet in the head of the cameraman. And then Van Damme, Deathrow, strings into action, kicks the gun away, takes Ronnie and drives off. Yeah. And from here on in, it's a chase movie. A good chase movie. That is a good chase movie. So we find out Devereaux is remembering things from his past. He's remembering when he was a young man, and his driving force throughout this whole film is he just wants to go home because that was his last memory. Yeah, and you're meant to think, alright, he has glitched. All the other Unisols that go after him. Then Dolph Lundgren's like, traitor. So he obviously remembers too. Anyway, eventually he does remember fully. And pretty soon, Dolph Lundgren has taken over the Unisol program. Yeah, he ends up killing the commander, just shoots him, and throughout the film takes out the other, all the lab techs and all that. Yeah. And the last bad tech, so stupid, kills himself accidentally. He tells one of the Unisols, here, hold this grenade until it blows up. Look at this.
GR74. Sergeant Scott has issued an order. He would like for you to hold this for 30 seconds and then drop it.
One, two, three.
There's a scene in a motel. Ronnie and Devereaux try to hide out there, but the Unisols track them down, and they can see through the walls. Yeah. And then Devereaux and Ronnie hide under some dead sheets, and they can't see through the sheets. What? Good point. Anyway, also at this motel, before the Unisols arrive, we get a bit of nudity. Yeah, Van Damme's bottom. It's a nice bottom. He's in shape, you know. He strips naked because he needs to cool down for a start, and also because they need to find a tracking device that is implanted on his body. Yeah. So, Ronnie grabs his penis. Yeah.
Beverly Hills?
Is that supposed to be there?
Yes, yeah, it is. It's very normal.
But they do find the tracking device, cut it out, and go on their merry way. Yeah. But they're still followed and tracked everywhere. Somehow, who knows how? I don't really know. You know that I like? When Van Damme says to Ronnie, listen, buckle up, because he's all about safety, because he's a brain-dead cyborg. Well, not quite, but yeah. He's like, don't smoke, it's bad for your health. He's like, wear your seatbelt. He's like, all this stuff. Yeah. Anyway, he says, buckle up, and she's like, right, fine, I'll buckle up. After some resistance. Oh, I know the bit you mean. Because it's a good job she buckles up. Because they're driving along. Yeah, I'll tell them. Oh, sorry. They're driving along, and then Dolph Lundgren pops up from the back seat. He's like, ha, surprise, mothers. He doesn't say that. No, but it's something similar. Yeah. And then Van Damme slams on the brakes, and Dolph Lundgren goes through the window because he didn't buckle up. That's right.
Clunk the car door and click the seatbelts. Clunk, click, every trip.
Devereaux and Ronnie stop off at a diner to make a phone call. Ronnie has got some information about who was behind this whole Unisol program. Jerry Ordak from Upworld. Yeah, that's right. Baby's dad. What? Oh, you've not seen Dirty Dancing, but yeah. Also, I found out recently, the voice of Lumiere. Really? Yeah. Huh. How strange. I do like the diner scene, because Van Damme's like, hey, I'll eat every single thing in the menu. And he does. And then, he never seems to need a dig too. No, well, no, but he can't pay the bill. No. Ronnie's outside on the phone, so she's not seeing any of this, because I'm sure she would say, okay, I'll pay the bill. But no, she wouldn't. She would, but she wouldn't. But anyway, she's on the phone. So, the chef comes out to beat up Van Damme. What an idiot. I mean, this guy looks like an Adonis. Well, anyway, the chef tries to beat him up, and then everyone in town joins in. Everyone in the diner fights Van Damme. He kicks all their asses easily and quite funnily, and the only people he doesn't beat up are the old people. They should get involved. Watch Van Damme stun kick a 90-year-old man. No, that's Conor McGregor. Right. Dolph Lundgren and the last couple of remaining Unisol managed to track down Van Damme because they stopped by a bar, a strip club. They don't even go inside. What a rip-off. Well, Dolph Lundgren beats up a few guys outside the bar and then questions the ringleader of these guys, this tiny little guy who's like, hey, 7-foot muscular giant, I'll give you cheek.
Nice necklace. I got one just like it made out of noses.
By the way, I like your belt. Can I have it?
He says, yeah, I saw Van Damme passing by here earlier. They went that away.
25. 26.
Eventually, Van Damme tells Ronnie, listen, you go your way, I'll go my way because I'm putting you in danger. They're at the dust station saying goodbye, and then, yeah, she doesn't leave. It's a good scene. The dust tills away, she's standing there. It's quite nice. And then the dust behind her tills away, and there's 800 police officers. That's quite a good scene, quite well done. So Devereaux and Ronnie are put in a prison bus, and they're being driven across the desert to prison. Yeah, they're the only people on the dust, except for one guard and one driver. There are cop cars accompanying the prison transport, to be honest. And then Dolph Lundgren appears and his massive mobile command unit, runs the cops off the road, destroys them, chases the prison dust, kills the guards and the driver, and then it looks like it's curtains for Van Damme. But no, it's Van Damme. He and Ronnie managed to get out of the dust just in time. Dolph Lundgren's mobile command unit over a cliff where it explodes. Yeah. Did you know that was originally the end of the movie? Really? Yeah. That people were raging because they're like, well, we want to see these two fight. They're both known for their martial arts. Prowess. Let them fight. Yeah, I would have been pretty upset if that had been the end of the movie. But luckily, it's not. So Van Damme gets to go home. Yeah. And his parents are like, oh, look. And they're surprised that not as surprised as you might think, considering their 30-year-old son has arrived after 30 years. He's still 30 years old. What? And they're like, oh, hello, look. Happy tears. Come on in. Who's this lady? It's Ronnie. She's mental. Okay. And by this point, Van Damme has been to see Jerry Orbach, so he's got pretty much all his memories back. And he's happy to be home. He says, right, that's me. I live here the rest of my days with my father and mother, who have lost, 30 years of being with me. And they have aged 30 years. I have not. But we'll make it work. Yeah. And Ronnie's like, right, see you later then. And heads out into the rain on her own in the middle of the night. What, just stay? She heads off. And then Sergeant Andrew Scott. Dolph Lundgren appears. He has tracked him down somehow. But he's tracked him down and he's like, I've taken Ronnie hostage. good luck, I'm going to shoot her in the head. And then he takes Devereaux's parents hostage as well. Yeah, so now it's Van Damme versus Dolph Lundgren. Finally! Oh, it's great. It's very good. It's very one-sided for most of the fight. Dolph Lundgren is kicking Van Damme's ass because he's got the special injections, the steroids, or whatever it is. Well, I don't think it's steroids, but some sort of magic formula that makes these soldiers incredibly strong and incredibly hard to beat. Yeah.
Super soldier serum!
And he's like, hey, Devereaux, you forgot to take your medicine. It shows who his syringe is, which is pretty stupid. It was a bit stupid because during the fight, Van Damme takes the syringe from him and injects it into himself. Yeah. Maybe we shouldn't have seen him doing it. Yeah, it might be better if it was just a reveal. He's taking it, but we see him taking it. Dolph Lundgren's about to kill Van Damme, and then we get this exchange.
Say goodnight, asshole. Good night, asshole. You're dead, soldier. No, I'm alive.
No, I'm alive. So good. And then we get some great Van Damme action. Son, Van Damage. Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren going at it. Van Damme kicks his ass in some great martial arts moves. Eventually throws Dolph Lundgren onto like a thrasher machine, or whatever it's called. A thresher, I think it is. A machine with spikes on it anyway. Dolph Lundgren goes onto the spikes. He's bleeding out, but as he's dying, he grabs Van Damme's head, tries to pull it onto one of the spikes. A final act of love, it will. But Van Damme manages to overpower him, breaks his arm, and switches on the thresher. You're discharged, Sarge.
You're discharged, Sarge.
Dolph Lundgren is chopped into tiny pieces and sprayed all over the farm. That'll be nice for his parents to see in the morning. Anyway, Ronnie survived, the parents survived, they're in the barn tied up. Ronnie's out in the rain tied up. She was almost blown up by a grenade thrown by Dolph Lundgren, but then she managed to survive somehow. She comes back and she's like, oh, where is he? Referring to Dolph Lundgren.
Where is he?
Around.
There's some great lines in this movie. They go and untie the parents and all four of them hug, and that's the end of the movie. That of a sudden end. That, apart from that, excellent. You like this? Yeah. This is one of the good ones. At this point, this was Van Damme's biggest cinematic endeavour. By the way, did you know there is an alternative ending to this movie? Oh, do you mean the truck going over the cliff and exploding? No. An actual alternate ending. Watch this.
I'm sorry, Luke. We had to set you up. It's the only way we could get both you and Scott. He's not your father, Luke. Your real parents think you died in Vietnam. Let's keep it that way. Look, don't make it any harder on yourself. Get up.
Please, no. Get away from him! Get away from him!
Ronnie, you didn't show up at the police station. You came out here. Woodward confirmed your story. You're alive. Come on.
are witnessing is the arrest of Dr. Christopher Gregor for the attempted murder of Luke Devereaux. I'm sorry, I can't. It's over.
Several days later, Luke was reunited with his real parents, who had been held by Dr. Gregor and his men. For 2 months, Luke Devereaux lived on his family's farm, surrounded by the people that he loved and cared about the most. For him, it was these brief but tender moments of humanity that made life worth living. He rejected all medical treatments that could have prolonged his life, preferring, as he put it, to live until the moment he died. Luke Devereaux was truly an extraordinary human being. He will be missed.
That's rubbish. Oh well, luckily we got the other ending. Yeah, I'm glad we had the more abrupt ending where they just hugged and that's it. Because I would have been devastated as a 13, 14-year-old watching this and be like, yay, he's beating the bad guy, yeah. Now he did. And of course the movie ends with a 90s rat song. Doddy count, doddy count, doddy count, doddy count.
Body count, body count, body count, body count, body count, body count.
It's not the best song. Anyway, wait, did you say they had a real fight? Who? Van Damme and Lundgren? At Cannes Film Festival. Okay, so this was before the age of the internet, before we had any good video footage, before there was anything more than magazines, newspaper articles and word of mouth. When this movie was released, it was shown at Cannes Film Festival. And on the red carpet, what we heard was Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren had an actual fight at the premiere of the movie. Oh, kill. And Van Damme kicked Lundgren's ass. Brilliant. Years later, we've seen the footage. Here's the footage. It is a bit of pushing and shoving, straighten up your suit jacket. That's really it. But it's cool. It was exaggerated back in the day in magazines and newspapers. But still, really cool. A nice little touch. And they both admitted pretty soon after it was just a bit of publicity for the movie. We just wanted to do something fun for everyone in attendance. That is pretty cool. That is. That Van Damme would win. I don't know. They're both pretty impressive martial artists in real life. Really? Yeah, we'll talk about that another time. Well, that's Universal Soldier from 1992. Have you seen it? If not, watch it right now. It's great. It's a lot of fun. But what did you think? Do you like it? Do you have any memories of it? Let us know. And hit like, hit subscribe, watch another video. You're discharged, Sarge.